Good evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Wilson School Board for Monday, July 15th, 2019. Can I have roll call, please?
Ehrlich? Mr. Hart? Mr. Hopp? Dr. Kennedy? Mrs. Cocker? Mr. Martin? Mr. Negrini? Mr. Wolf? That's 6 here and 3 absent.
Thank you. Would you all please rise for the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag Thank you. Mr. Maravich.
There's two opportunities for the public to address the board. The first is on agenda items, which is immediately before the agenda. The second is on non-agenda items, which is at the end of the meeting pursuant to board policy and the Sunshine Law. It is a 3-minute opportunity to provide the board with matters that are or may come before it.
Any communications? Okay. The board did meet in executive session prior to this evening's meeting. Moving on to approval of minutes, looking for a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting of June 17th, 2019. Mrs. Cocker, thank you. Second, Mr. Ehrlich, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
If I could just make a comment, there were some community members that asked some questions about 10.14 and 10.15 and the attachments that were not posted. They are posted now, so thank you, Dr. Paley.
Thank you for pointing that out. Treasurer's report, Mr. Martin.
Yes, Mr. President, I submit for approval tonight the Treasury report, the investment report, the general fund financial reports as presented.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Mr. Ehrlich, thank you. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart? Yes. Mrs. Cocker? Yes. Mr. Martin?
Yes,
Mr. Wolf?
Yes. Thank you. Payment of bills, Mr. Martin.
yes, Mr. President, I submit for approval tonight. I have the general fund for 2018 and 19, $6,220,514.73. And the general fund for 2019, 2020, $1,517,219.86. And then I have the capital reserve, $29,565.05.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Mr. Ehrlich, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart? Mrs. Cocker? Mr. Martin? Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
6-4, 0 against.
Thank you. And financial reports, Mr. Martin.
Yes, Mr. President, I submit for approval tonight the following reports. The cafeteria report for June, the child care for June, and activity accounts, Southern Middle School for 219, Wilson Western Middle School for 219, and a senior high for 219.
Thank you. Do I have a second for that? Mr. Case, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hart? Mrs. Cocker? Mr. Martin?
Yes,
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
6-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Superintendent's report, Dr. Fadley.
Thank you, President Wolf. Tonight, I present the Superintendent's Report, Personnel and Program Recommendations for your approval, as presented.
Thank you. So looking for a motion for 6.1 through 6.7. Mrs. Cocker, thank you. Second, Mr. Hart. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cocker? Mr. Martin?
yes,
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart? Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
6-4, 0 against.
Sorry, Mr. Martin, did you want to stay on, or were you going to sign off?
no, I'll stay on for about half an hour.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to ratification of field trips, 7.1, looking for a motion to approve the field trip to the National Museum of African American History and Culture as presented. I have a second or a motion for that. Mrs. Cocker, second. Mr. Hart, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Under consent items, looking for a motion to accept with gratitude a donation from First Priority Mid-Penn Bank, a check for $500 to be used to buy books for Spring Ridge Elementary School. Do I have a motion for that? Mr. Case, thank you. Mrs. Cocker, second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to Human Resources, 9.1, looking for a motion to authorize the superintendent to make employment commitments to qualified applicants as presented. 9.2, motion to approve the annual employee assistance program service agreement as attached. 9.3, motion to approve the 2019-2020 discretionary day cost to teachers at $199.87 per day. 9.4, motion to approve the updated 2019-2020 support staff compensation ranges as attached. 9.5, motion to approve the salaries effective July 1st, 2019 as per attached. 9.6, motion to approve the payment of the $100 to Tammy Campbell and $250 to Ronald Zonwowski, who were inadvertently not submitted with the 6/17/19 list of drivers. 9.7, motion to approve to authorize the appointment of Jennifer Joyner to principal of Whitfield Elementary School as presented. And 9.8, motion to approve to authorize the appointment of Dr. Daniel Weber to principal of Wilson Senior High School as presented. So looking for a motion for 9.1 through 9.8. Mr. Case first, Mr. Ehrlich second. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart? Mrs. Cocker? Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
6-4, 0 against.
And I just want to point out that we do have Dan Weber here tonight, as well as Jen Joyner. Just congratulations to both of you and welcome to the district. Jen, welcome, not back to the district, I should say. So thank you for your service. Moving on to student services, 10.1, looking for a motion to grant permission to contract with Schuylkill Valley School District as presented. 10.2, a motion to grant permission to contract with Wyomissing School District as presented. 10.3, motion to approve the purchase of 11 secondary student slots with the River Rock Academy for the 2019-2020 school year as presented. 10.4, motion to grant permission to contract with New Story School as presented. 10.5, motion to grant permission to contract with Capstone Academy as presented. 10.6, motion to approve the linkage letter between SAM and the Wilson School District as presented. 10.7, motion to approve to contract Fox Rothschild for legal consultation services as presented. And 10.8, motion to approve the memorandum of understanding with the Spring Township and Lower Heidelberg Township law enforcement authorities as attached. So 10.1 through 10.8, motion for that. Mr. Hart, thank you. Second, Mr. Case. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Martin.
Real quick, on 10.3, the additional signage, that's above and beyond what we had allocated.
The additional what? I'm sorry, it's difficult to hear you.
I'm sorry, yes, I realize I'm not coming in for it. But the leaving secondary student slots and one elementary slot, that's above and beyond what we're guaranteed from the rental.
So I believe your question is that above and beyond what our rental agreement is with them,
That is correct, yes.
with River Rock?
They are not attached anymore. Previously, a portion of the rent was actually in slots, and that's been detached.
Yeah, the new rental agreement removed that and just became more of a monetary rental agreement. So this is just us purchasing 11 slots.
All right, sounds good.
Okay? Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart? Mrs. Cocker? Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
6-4, 0 against.
Moving on to technology and media, 11.1, looking for a motion to approve to sell outdated iMacs and MacBook Pro to Sycamore International as presented. 11.2, motion to approve G Suite backup agreement as presented. 11.3, motion to approve the donation of obsolete technology equipment to Harmonious Volunteer Center, Philadelphia, PA, as presented. 11.4, motion to approve donation of broken technology equipment to iGreen Electronics Recycling, Reading, PA, as presented. Looking for a motion for 11.1 through 11.4. Mrs. Cocker, thank you. Second, Mr. Case, any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart? Mrs. Cocker? Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
6-4, 0 against.
Okay, here we go with operations. Mr. Simcox. 12.1, looking for a motion to grant permission to proceed with the fire alarm panel replacement at Spring Ridge to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A, at a cost of $18,270 by BSGI Incorporated under PA State Contract 4400015432, CoStar's IT Hardware Contract 003-338, and CoStar's MRD Contract 008-246, pending final solicitor review. 12.2, motion to reject all bids received for the Lower House paving project and to rebid the project. 12.3, a motion to proceed with LED lighting upgrades at the teacher's lot and the student lot at the high school through CoStar's number 008-017 with Dolphin Electric at a cost of $30,808.62 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A, pending final review by the solicitor. 12.4, motion to grant approval to proceed with the removal and replacement of detectable warning system mats at the patio at Cornwall Terrace with Farino at a cost of $1,100 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.5, motion to grant approval to proceed with the replacement of existing sidewalks at Wilson Southern Middle School with Farino at a cost of $8,170 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.6, motion to grant approval to proceed with the removal and replacement of vertical curb and staff parking lot at 2601 Grandview Boulevard with Farino Corporation at a cost of $5,600 to be paid with the proceeds of general obligation bond 2019A. 12.7, motion to grant approval to proceed with the removal and replacement of 2 sections of existing sidewalk at the auditorium entrance at Wilson High School with Farino at a cost of $3,350 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.8, motion to grant approval to proceed with removal and replacement of roll curb at Whitfield Elementary with Farino Corporation at a cost of $4,500 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.9, request approval to proceed with removal and replacement of sidewalk of Berkshire Heights Early Learning Center with Farino Corporation at a cost of $2,850 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.10, motion to grant approval to proceed with asphalt paving of the walkway in east lot of Green Valley Elementary School with Ronnie C. Falk Paving at a cost of $4,250 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.11, motion to grant approval to proceed with asphalt paving of the playground area of Green Valley Elementary School with Ronnie C. Falk at a cost of $2,895 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.12, motion to grant approval to proceed with asphalt paving of Southern Middle School, rear of the school, with Ronnie C. Falk Incorporated at a cost of $2,375 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.13, motion to grant approval to proceed with the asphalt paving patching at Spring Ridge Elementary Playground with Ronnie C. Falk Paving at a cost of $4,895 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.14, motion to grant approval to proceed with the asphalt paving patching at Shiloh Hills Elementary School with Ronnie C. Falk Paving Incorporated, a cost of $4,585 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.15, motion to grant approval to proceed with the asphalt paving at Southern Middle School at the rear service entrance with Ronnie C. Falk Paving at a cost of $6,265 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.16, motion to grant approval to proceed with asphalt paving at Cornwall Terrace Elementary School, inlet repair in front of the lot with Ronnie C. Falk Paving Incorporated, at a cost of $3,325 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.17, motion to grant approval to proceed with asphalt paving at Cornwall Terrace Elementary School playground with Ronnie C. Falk Paving at a cost of $2,175 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.18, motion to grant approval to proceed with asphalt paving at Shiloh Hills Elementary School playground with Ronnie C. Falk Paving Incorporated at a cost of $1,775 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.19, motion to grant approval to proceed with asphalt paving at Grandview Boulevard Teachers Lot with Ronnie C. Falk Paving Incorporating at a cost of $3,895 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.20, motion to grant approval to proceed with asphalt paving at Spring Ridge Elementary School playground area with Ronnie C. Falk Paving at a cost of $2,845 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.21, motion to grant approval to proceed with asphalt paving at Whitfield Elementary School playground with Ronnie C. Falk at a cost of $2,375 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. 12.22, motion to grant approval to proceed with asphalt paving at Lower House Sinkhole with Ronnie C. Falk Incorporating at a cost of $1,100 to be paid with the proceeds of the general obligation bond, Series 2019A. And last but not least, 12.23, motion to contract services with Decision Insight for information needed for the feasibility study at a cost of $10,520 from the Capital Reserve Fund pending final solicitor review. So looking for a motion for 12.1 through 12.23. Mr. Ehrlich first, Mr. Case second. Any comments? Yeah.
Just a question on the timeline, that hope, is the hope that this would all be completed before school starts, like maybe summer work, or just?
All people.
Okay, just
Yes,
making sure.
the way we did this. If I may, too, one item, we're in negotiations right now with PPL on the project that's going down West Street. And as of this afternoon, the one item we will stricken off this list, they have volunteered to work with us as they go down Van Reed and replace that roll curve in across the district.
Great.
They'll be doing some other work along Van Reed Road for us.
Excellent.
My only comment is, really glad we did that bond issue so Jeff could do all this.
Yeah. I'm glad Steph asked the question so I could catch my breath. All right, we have a first and a second, so looking for a roll call.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mrs. Cocker?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
6-4, 0 against.
All right, moving on to finance, 13.1, looking for a motion to approve to award the elementary and secondary art supplies, elementary and secondary music equipment and supplies, and the fall athletic supplies bid as presented. 13.2, motion to approve the budget transfers dated June 13th, 2019 through June 30th, 2019 as presented. And 13.3, motion to submit 2 delinquent accounts to the Berks County Tax Claim Bureau as presented. I have a motion for 13.1 through 13.3. Mr. Ehrlich, thank you. Second, Mrs. Cocker. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cocker?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart? Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
6-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Under Transportation, 14.1, looking for a motion to approve the transportation contract with Hogan Learning Academy for the school year 2019-2020 as attached. 14.2, motion to approve a transportation contract with Hogan Learning Academy for the 2019 extended school year as attached. And 14.3, motion to approve transportation contract with Gaiman's Mennonite School for the school year 2019-2020, subject to final solicitor negotiation and approval. So looking for 14.1 through 14.3. Mr. Hart first, Mrs. Cocker second. Thank you. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart? Mrs. Cocker?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
6-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Under extracurricular 15.1, motion to approve the updated 2019 fall help rates as presented. 15.2, motion to approve the updated 2019-2020 winter help rates as presented. 15.3, motion to approve the updated 2020 spring help rates as presented. 15.4, motion to approve the updated 2019-2020 refreshment help rates as presented. And 15.5, motion to approve the updated 2019-2020 admission rates as presented. I have a motion for 15.1 through 15.5. Mr. Case, thank you. Mr. Hart, second, thank you. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart? Mrs. Cocker? Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
6-4, 0 against.
Under policies, 16.1 is a motion to approve the final reading and adoption of policies 313, evaluation of employees, 317, conduct and disciplinary procedures, and 317.1, educator misconduct. And 16.2 is a motion to approve the correction of a substantive typographical error in the published version of policy 219, student complaint process as attached. So looking for a motion for 16.1 through 16.2. Mrs. Cocker, thank you. Second, Mr. Case. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Hart? Mrs. Cocker?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
6-4, 0 against.
Thank you. 16.4 is just a second reading of policy 324 on personnel files and 325 dress and grooming. Moving on to committee reports, BCTC, Mr. Case, and then you can also do the Ed Foundation.
Sure. Happy summer, everybody. Although it's been a while since school ended, I'd like to start off with congratulating the Wilson BCTC students of the fourth quarter. Some time has passed since those names have come in. So from the East Campus, Isaac Arndt for carpentry and Allison Parks for service occupations. And from the West Campus, Dylan Bilodeau for business management and entrepreneurship, Alyssa Marasco for communication media technology, Delilah Martinez for photo imaging technology, Matthew Elia for precision machining technology, and Mitchell Raymer for recreational and power equipment technology. So there's 7 students that have been on this list. It's the most since I've started reading these, so it seems like we're on the upswing, which is great. Other summer updates, a new student-built house is approved for construction to start on lot number 20 across from the BCTC East Campus. Fall students will learn about surveying, excavating, foundations, laying block, and in-ground mechanicals, et cetera. So there's a bunch of sites for many future years to come. So the finishing details are still being worked on for the current project, and which will wrap up this school year, and then that house will be sold, so they're going to start another one. It's a great program. There was a groundbreaking ceremony on June 3rd for the new advanced welding and metal fabrication building. This building will double the much-needed capacity for the welding program and be completed in time for summer 2020 classes. And something I wanted to bring up to this board, I mentioned to Steph earlier, the BCTC was awarded a $43,000 E-grant, or an E-rate grant, from USAC, which is the Universal Service Administration Company, for data security and safe learning environments. And I believe any kind of school can apply for this grant, and I'm not sure if Wilson has or not, but they're using it for some internal structure cabling and internet connectivity. So I guess if you meet certain requirements, you can apply for this grant, so it might be something that we want to look into. And then from the WEF, the foundation, there are a couple of summer items I want to share from the Ed Foundation. One, the WEF is working with the district this summer on the great Bulldog Summer Blast reading camps. I have heard they are going fantastic, and this week is week number 4 of the 6-week program. Enrollment this year is 61 students ranging from grades 1 to 4. And for those who are not aware of the program, the Bulldog Summer Blast Reading Camp is a 6-week academic program from June 18th to August 1st for children entering 1st through 4th grade for the 2019-2020 school year. The program is taught by Wilson teachers to help diminish the summer slide and offers continued learning opportunities while having fun outside. So for more information, check out the Wilson website, and you can find the WEF from the website. And number 2, the fall 2019 venture grants have been approved as well. 3 teachers were awarded grants for the fall totaling $1,317. A couple of other things for next year. Save the date, Friday, September 20th. The Wilson Ed Foundation has a board meeting that day, so save that date. And then more importantly, the Saturday, November 23rd, the 2019 WEF Casino Bash is that night. And Sunday, March 22nd, 2020 is the next year's Wilson Iron Chef. So that's all I have. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the summer.
Thank you. I don't think anyone has a report for Dr. Kennedy for IU. I think we'll just skip those that aren't here. So skipping down to extracurricular, we did not meet in July. The only update I would give you, I'm sure most of you are aware, most of our varsity head coaches have held camps over the summer or going to be holding camps, and I've gotten a lot of good feedback, know a lot of kids that were at those. So well attended, and it's a great opportunity for our head coaches to interact with the youth as well as our current players to be there and interact with the youth, which if you ask the kids who go to those camps, that's their favorite part is hanging out with the high school kids. So that's a great service that our coaches provide. Mr. Ehrlich, do you have anything under facilities for Mr. Negrini or nothing? If not, you can do finance.
Finance, no report.
Okay. Mr. Hart, HR?
No report, but just something to note, our new meeting dates are now the second Tuesday of the month at noon. And are they going to be in your office from now on? Okay, in Dr. Fadley's office.
Okay. Thank you. Legislative, Mr. Martin?
No report.
Okay. It's good, we can hardly hear you anyway. Technology, Mrs. Cocker?
Our next meeting for the Technology Committee is Monday, August 5th at 4 p.m. upstairs. And there's am I going to take this away from you, Mrs. Troutman? Okay. There's a fun update to the website. If you go to the Wilson website, I don't know if we can, probably not. There's a video playing in the background, which highlights a lot of our the amazing work that goes on in our school. It's also loading on my computer, so I'm not sure if we'll be able to watch it. But everybody has smartphones or computers, so check it out. It's really professionally done. It looks great. So
Excellent.
That's the end of my report.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Ms. Troutman, I skipped you. When I saw Mr. Hopp's name, I just skipped over.
No, and I just have one quick item, which I think I had shared with the board. One item of Wilson good news, Wilson High School Reading Strategies teacher Allison Irwin was selected to participate in the NOAA Teacher at Sea program. So she was chosen out of over 300 applicants. There's only 19 people participating in this summer research cruise that she's on. So she actually set sail on July 7th from Newport, Oregon, and she's at sea right now. And she's on the NOAA ship Reuben Lasker. She's assisting scientists with coastal pelagic, I don't even know if I said that right, species research. And I will tell you, I actually got to spend a lot of time with her right before she left. What she's doing is incredible, and it's a huge opportunity, and we as a school district are going to reap the rewards of that because she will come back, and she is going to be sharing all that experience with her students. And it's one of the neatest things, I think, that I've seen one of our teachers do. So I'm really excited for her to come back, and we're going to bring her to a board meeting so she can share her experiences with you. The Reading Eagle has been sharing some information about her journeys. She was interviewed by WFMZ as well, and I know we'll be pitching more of that when she comes back for her to share her full experience. So we're super proud of Allison. She's just an amazing teacher, and we're so excited for her return. And Steph already mentioned about the update to the website. We also added to the website as well 3 additional videos that were produced as part of our partnership with the County of Berks. We are going to be the featured school on the County of Berks' new website, and as part of that, we had 3 videos produced to promote the school district. So they're also on the homepage of the website. So we're excited about these new videos and being able to share them more broadly than just the website once the start of the school year happens. So that's my update.
Thank you. Mr. Maravich, anything for the cause? Okay. And no public participation, correct? Okay. Any other business from the board? Okay. If not, looking for a motion to adjourn. Mr. Hart, thank you.